Hey everybody, ronarray here, and my league start with Absolution Guardian went pretty smooth. I progressed pretty fast through the campaign, I get the stone, and went to farming tier 16 without a single issue. So the build is developing pretty nice too, and in this video I wanted to give an update, showcase my items, and give some tips on how you can improve your damage, your survivability, and your general clear in tier 16 and other variation of content. Let's go, and I will be able to explain what you will need to buy first, what your priorities are, and how you can make your character stronger. Feel free to subscribe to the channel too if you appreciate such updates, and let's go. So first off, let's talk about how you can improve your damage early on when you just reach in maps, and what's the most important part to improve your damage even further. First off, you will need to get a wand with +1 level of all physical or all lightning spell skill gems. Both are working. Getting some minion damage or minion crit strike chance in there is kinda a nice bonus, but the most important part is +1. You will also need to have an open suffix so you can craft trigger socketed spell when you use a skill. It's going to give you elemental weakness, desecrate, and spirit offering. So crafting bench is practically crafting it just fine, but to get that craft, you will need to go to Act 9 in the refinery and find a little hole in the ground that's looking like some kind of hatch, and you will need to click on it so it will open and will let you into the zone. It could be a little hard to find and can take some time, but just make sure you're checking on the ground in the location. Next step is getting the helmet for +2 levels of all minion skill gems. It's a huge damage bonus and it's pretty important, so keep getting those levels. At the moment my Absolution is level 25, and it's more than enough to clear most of the content I can get, including buffed 8 mods with tier 16s and all mechanics in them too. So getting it as high as possible is very important. And you can also get a shield with +1 level of all lightning spell skill gems too, together with some resistances. To get a better block you can craft chance, increase chance to block, so your block will be higher. Mine currently at 34, so I think it's kinda alright. And the last part is the amulet. You can get +1 level of all lightning skill gems too, and it should be pretty cheap if you're not aiming for any other things on the amulet, so practically just life and plus levels. Getting some stats here could be a nice bonus too. In terms of anointment for the amulet, if you have money, I definitely recommend deflection. I had it anointed on my previous amulet, and I will anoint it myself since I currently have replica dragon fang already, and I'm going to swap it to it a little later. So deflection is working like a very nice option. And anything other for the block, like as a mountain, could work as well, because block is going to be very good thing for your survivability. With the current setup, you should have approximately like around 45-50% to block attack damage and about 66-65 block spell damage, and it should be more than enough to feel great in maps. However, make sure you're not running into the monsters and you're keeping your distance and letting your guys fight. Another important part for the damage is Vaal Absolution. Vaal Absolution is one of the most important parts in the build. If you can get Absolution with a quality with Vaal, you can just play a normal Absolution without quality at all and play the Vaal here. Vaal Absolution minion has like 32 seconds duration, and soul gain prevention is 36. So you will get Vaal Absolution uptime close to 100%, only 4 seconds between recasting it if you're fighting normal monsters. Make sure that you're using it all the time, because Vaal Absolution is giving you damage, is giving you clear, and practically making your build strong. Without Vaal Absolution, it's not feeling that amazing. The next step is Flask. So for the Flask, I'm running one flask for the armor, so just like armor percent increase, and use when charge are full. I'm also running one for movement speed, and I'm running double life flask at the moment. First life flask is for me, it has like instant recovery when on low life and immunity to bleeding. And second one is for minions, it has grants percent of life recovery to minions, so I'm mostly using it if I can see that minions are receiving too much damage at the moment. And the Flask in the middle is very questionable. So most of the time I'm using just Silver Flask of Diverting, just for the onslaught to be a little faster and have like spell damage leached as energy shield just a little to make sure I'm not losing my energy shield, which is a mana. But you can also run a Writhing Jar. Writhing Jar is pretty specific. It's going to spawn the worms, and when you're clicking it, you will be able to kill the worms and get your Absolution Guardians. However, there's a big issue. When you're clicking Writhing Jar and you have other minions, such as your Summon Sentinel Radiance, or your Summon Golem, or your Spectres around, they're going to kill those worms faster than you do. That way you're going to receive nothing. So, to use the Writhing Jar properly when you're fighting a boss, you need to wait until other minions will trigger on the boss and just will run to the boss. When they're running, you can practically click the Writhing Jar and immediately hit yourself with Absolution. However, it's pretty clunky, and I think later on I will probably drop it completely out of the build. For the rest of the items, so get +1 level here, here, and here, I'm running Darkness Enthroned with basic jewels, those shouldn't be that expensive, one for minion leech and extra damage, and second one just for extra damage. At the gloves, it's very important to run a chance to unnerve enemies for 4 seconds on hit, together with some resistances and minion damage down there. For the boots, I'm using triple resistance, movement speed, some life, and that's pretty much it. My rings are pretty bad, so practically just resistances and life. I'm probably going to replace most of them soon, and the second ring is kinda the same. And for the body armor, I'm just using Implicit for +1 to all maximum resistances, some life here together with life percentage, and 6 additional physical damage reduction. I think it's helping a lot with survivability, so I can definitely recommend it. In terms of supports, I'm running Physical to Lightning, Spell Echo, Minion Damage, Absolution, Increased, Critical Damage, and Concentrated. So at the moment, Concentrated is kinda questionable because it's ruining your AoE and making your clear less flashy, but if you feel like you really need damage for harder rares and single target, you could just use that instead. So, Molten Shell, Automation Convocation is in the shield. Here, as auras, I'm running Zealotry, Determination, and right here also Haste, Tempest Shield, and Flesh and Stone. To achieve all of that, I'm using Unwavering Faith for increased reservation efficiency of skills. And I think it's really worth it if you want to be faster. If you feel like your survivability is not high enough, I would probably drop those points and I would invest into Bastion of Hope and Time of Need instead, so you can survive better. However, if you feel like your survivability is fine and you want to add Haste as an aura, so right here I have Haste, you can practically invest those points, and Unwavering Faith is just going to give you enough to get the Haste without bothering with everything else. So for the Spectres, I'm running Spectres, Summon Stone Golem, Feeding Frenzy, and Minion Life. My current Spectres are pretty interesting. First off, I use Perfect Warrior, which you can buy as a corpse, so just Perfect Forest Warrior. It's giving me a permanent onslaught, as you can see, so it's very comfortable because you run faster. And the second one is just the monkey, basic monkey, so like a chieftain, which is going to generate charges for you, so like frenzy charge. It's Carnage Chieftain. To get the chieftain, you need to go to like Act 2, right here, Old Fields. It's called Carnage Chieftain, and you should be fine with that. Since I currently have Death Atonement in my tree, I have one additional Spectre, and for that we have a few different options. Practically, we can go for Host Chieftain, so like, yeah, here it is, Southern Forest. You can get your Host Chieftain Monkey, and it's going to generate power charges for you. Or you can go to Crusader Influenced map and get a Baronite Cleric. So far, I've been searching for Baronite Cleric. It's going to give you 20 of physical as Lightning, which is pretty nice, and I think I'm going to run him instead of power charges for the last Spectre. And talking about the tree, I invested early into Grand Spectrums, so I'm using 3 Grand Spectrums Cobalt Jewels. I think those are improving damage pretty nice, and I can definitely recommend them. So like here, here, and one here as well. I'm not using any other jewels, so at the moment it's practically just Grand Spectrums. And taking everything in the same fashion like I've been doing in my PoE that you probably already seen, so like the same way like in the guide. I'm also going to add just Animated Guardian a little later because I want to go for better items for it as well. And for Animated Guardian we are going to replace one of the gems right here, so like either minion life, or if I will feel like I want him to be a little tankier, I will move Summon Stone Golem to other socket and I will add AG right here. It's probably going to be in the next update after I will test a few variations to see which one is performing the best. And another topic is what kind of maps we should avoid. So generally, I'm running all maps except the Reflect, and for the Reflect you can still equip Sibyl's Lament to the left socket for the ring and run it too. But generally, most of the maps are doable. However, if you don't have capped chaos resistance, for example, or just high chaos resistance in general, I don't recommend to run like physical extra chaos maps, and look at the mods at all, and if you have too many mods and like low block chance and your gear is not too good, make sure you're not running those and like leaving them a little for later. And the last thing, which is pretty important for good survivability, is the amount of life. So generally, you should aim for at least 4000 life for red maps, and perfectly, if you can go higher, it's going to be even better. I started feeling better around 4,500, and I think if you'll be closer to 5k life, it's going to be even easier to play. So make sure you're taking all life where you can, so like in the tree. I'm also passing here for the devotion as well, and at the moment I'm not investing into endurance charges, but I think one of the next steps that I'm going to do is practically anointing deflection, as I already mentioned, and my next point is probably going for endurance charge right here because it's going to improve survivability as well. So just getting endurance charges from either like inexorable or deflection as well could be a very nice bonus to your survivability in general. Hope you are having an amazing league start as well, and see you next time. ronarray out.